Welcome to the ongoing series American Pride and Passion. In this photograph, Airstream Trailer, Home on the Range, we'll look at some of the techniques involved in creating the photograph and my philosophy behind some of these thoughts. This is my friend Brian and myself on the location when we did the actual shot. These were done with cell phones, so excuse the quality. What you're looking at here is the final composition of the Airstream trailer and some accessories in the high deserts of California. If you look carefully on the right, you can even see a little satellite dish I included. My thinking is I'm not trying to make fake photographs of old shots. These are new photographs of old stuff. What you're looking at now are separate snapshots, I would say more scenes that were captured on the location. I'm shooting, in this case, the sunset with different color balances and different times. I'm basically creating palettes, like a painter would create palettes. To create the painting later on, you have to make up all the colors ahead of time. In this case, you can see there's separate shots of the Airstream trailer lit from above, left, right. Sometimes I'm skimming it, sometimes I'm floodlighting it. I'm even getting inside. But what I'm doing is I'm making all these separate exposures so later on I could re-put them back together into one single, interesting, beautiful photograph. I'm very conscious of when I'm on location to shoot as much as possible and even shoot things I might not necessarily need. As a matter of personal integrity, I never want to fake a picture. When I finally get home and am putting all these images back together, if I forget something, well then I forget it. It's not appropriate to steal a photograph from a previous shooting or get a prettier sky, prettier sunset, or a better piece of grass or ground from somewhere else. Even this lighting on the log you're looking at was very carefully composed. Nothing in these shots is accidental. It's true that the axiom, less is more, the less there is to work with, the more critical everything is in the picture. What I'm doing now is starting to put these shots back together. This is the first layer, which maybe includes 2 or 3 images already. As I develop more and more layers in the final photograph, you can see the flamencos are starting to show up. Then the chairs and even the reflections of the chairs off the inside very shiny polished door. I love the phrase that's attributed to Michelangelo, which is something to the effect of, "The statue already exists inside the marble block. All he does is chip away all the little pieces that don't belong." Similarly, I like the idea that all the work I pour into these photographs, along with the volunteers who help me, help reveal the beauty that's already there. Talking about character and integrity and the passions from the people who work with these things, in this case the man who restored it and the people who built them, and the people who go camping to this day with this kind of equipment. I think it's so charming. As I develop more and more layers into the photograph, you see it's really coming alive. It's not so much capturing a scene, not even necessarily pouring a lot of information into it. I'm really trying to make, I would say, more a portrait of the scene. If you look very carefully, you can see way in the background, I actually did walk out in the desert several hundred yards with a big floodlight to try to skim all the bushes way out into the distance, because it does add a lot. And that's indeed how the shot was developed over time. And it's interesting when you look at this photograph of the basically final image put together with all the layers involved. And this photograph of the original scene, the only difference between the 2 photographs is the lighting. Of course, one is shot at nighttime, so I can control lighting. But between this shot and this shot, it's basically the same photograph, just different lighting elements involved. And I think that's so interesting. As a last little caveat, it's great to see some close-ups. In this case, the flamenco reflected against the skin of the trailer. You could even see the rivets. The cactus itself, I'm very careful to not light everything too much. I'm still keeping a sense of depth with light on one side and shadow on the other. I'm using a Canon EOS 1 DS Mark II for this photograph. I've since upgraded. But it's true that these photographs can be done by anybody with a digital camera. Any digital camera can do this. It just takes a little patience. And that's how the photograph came to be.